This video is all about how you can learn how to make 10 times more money by studying and applying the secrets hidden within a popular movie. The movie is called Limitless. It came out in 2011. And it's all about how this guy gets this magic pill that supercharges his brain, makes him super smart, super intuitive, and he becomes incredibly successful. He makes millions of dollars almost overnight. And I'm here to show you how that is actually based in truth. And you can learn and discover and apply these secret teachings and see radical, amazing changes in your life. My name is Brent Michael Phillips. I am the founder and creator of the Awakening Dynamic System of Energy Healing and Higher Consciousness. And I'm here with this video, which is number 1 in our series on consciousness shifting, to pull back the curtain on the hidden spiritual technologies. This is literally the techniques that were hidden in the ancient mystery schools for thousands of years. And many of them are starting to come to light. The reason I mentioned the movie Limitless is this. That movie was written by another student of my late mentor. His name was Karl. I'm not going to talk too much more about him here because I don't want you all running off to Google someone else, right? You need to hear the message first. After that, go crazy. And so one of his other students wrote this movie about his experience working with Karl, because Karl's work was absolutely life-changing. I mean, I've been a full-time healer for 20 years. I've been around the metaphysical world for decades. I've read thousands of books, taken hundreds and hundreds of seminars and trainings and intensives. I have personally facilitated over 20,000 private energy healing sessions. So I've been doing this for a long time. And let me tell you, what was taught in Limitless is real. It's just not as simple or as easy as what was presented in the movie. So I'm going to lay it out for you right here in this video, how you can use the secret teachings in this movie to find the real truth, these things hidden in the mystery schools for thousands of years. And it will blow your mind and totally change your life. For me, I didn't 10x my income. I only tripled my income. But hey, you can't always get what you want, right? So if 10xing your income sounds good to you, and if you'd be okay with, well, okay, I didn't do so well, I only tripled my income, you're in the right place. So what are we talking about here? How in the world can this magical superpower from this movie be real? So here's what happened. Another one of Karl's students was so amazed by this experience with this energy work, because in my opinion, Karl was the absolute top of anyone I've worked with. I've worked with siddhas, masters, people you've heard of. None of them was even close to him. Karl was on a whole nother level. And when I worked with Karl, he taught us these secrets about movement and meditation, changing our consciousness, that will absolutely change your life. Now, it's not really about money, people, in case you're wondering. Money's just the lure. It's the thing on the surface that get us interested, to get us involved. It's really about spirituality, presence, embodiment, even enlightenment. And so, regards to Limitless and real life teachings, I got good news and I got bad news. Let's do the bad news first. The bad news is becoming enlightened, developing superpowers, 10xing your income is not as simple as taking a pill. Why did they do it that way in the movie? That's what people understand. That's our paradigm. You want to change your body, you go to a doctor, they give you a pill, you take it. So he made that up so it would be palatable and acceptable to a mainstream audience. Now, are there supplements you can use to enhance the process? Yes, but they're peripheral, not the core. The core is consciousness work. It's meditation and movement is really what it's about. And so, is it as simple as taking a pill? No. Is it as fast as take a pill and an hour later you're making $1 million a day trading stocks? Generally not. For me, it was a longer process. It took me about 1.5 years to get to the point where I was able to triple my income and keep it there consistently. Some people see great results almost overnight. I could bore you for hours with all these stories about athletes and writers, directors, actors, businessmen, entrepreneurs that worked with Karl and saw their lives totally change. They took their business to a whole new level. He worked with a lot of Academy Award winners, Tony winners, a lot of people in entertainment, and made them hugely successful. And I'm here to share that with you. So the bad news is it's not as simple as taking a pill. And it's usually not seeing millions of dollars within hours. That can happen, but that's rare. The real truth is what they've done in the movie to the secret teachings of the mystery schools is similar to how Hollywood treats hackers. And so we all know about computer hackers, right? The nerdy types like I used to be that sit in a dark room with a keyboard and go around learning how to crack systems. and doing good or bad things, depending on whether you're a white hat or a black hat. But real hacking is totally different than what you see in the movies. Because you watch a movie or a TV show, they got some problem, oh, we got to find the bad guy, and they got some computer whiz that sits down at a terminal they've never seen before on a system they've never heard of and manages to crack it in 30 seconds or 5 minutes. No, people, that's not how hacking works. I've known hackers. I did a bit of hacking myself when I was a teenager. Hacking is mainly about spending hundreds, thousands of hours pouring through code, most of it incredibly boring, mind-numbing, to find a vulnerability. And you may spend years of work to find one little flaw. That's what real hacking is. It's not sit down and 10 seconds later break any system, right? No. That's what they do in the movies, because that makes for a good story. So the real work is there, but it's a little more process involved, and it takes a little longer. That's all. But the good news is this is 100% absolutely real, people. This is no joke. And I also wanted to follow up on something I mentioned earlier. It's not really about the money. It's really not. The money is a side effect. It's something that tends to happen when you get present, when you elevate your consciousness. It's simple. People will like you more. You'll be happier. You'll feel better. You'll be in a better mood. Your mind will be clearer. You'll be a better thinker. You'll make better decisions. So a lot of this, again, it's not really so much a pill you take that supercharges your brain and all of a sudden you're a genius. A lot of it is learning to be a little better version of who you are. A little stronger, a little smarter, a little faster. Show up a little more on time. Follow through a little more. Procrastinate a little less. That's what this is about. Matched with the high-level consciousness work that we're going to do in this series with the consciousness shifting, that's a formula for incredible success. And just so you guys know, I had been a full-time healer for over 10 years before I really started to understand this stuff. So metaphysics is great, but this is spirituality. This is direct embodiment. This is literally the secrets hidden in the ancient mystery schools. And here's how it goes. Back in the old days, there were secret teachings of consciousness held in the mystery schools. There were forms of mystery schools in ancient Babylon, in ancient Egypt. A lot of the stories in the Old Testament and the Bible are closely linked to those things. And so there has been hidden spiritual knowledge in our world for thousands of years. But for the most part, it was only shared with a small number of people. You had to be a high priest or a king or married to the king or something like that to have access to it. And if you were a, quote, normal person and you wanted to be a seeker, you wanted to learn this. This stuff I'm teaching you right here in this series for free. If you wanted to learn this in the old days and you weren't already a king or married to one or something, right? You had to go and apply, and they would generally make you spend at least 20 years scrubbing toilets and chopping wood and carrying bricks and such, doing dirty, horrible manual labor just to show you're serious. And oh yeah, you also had to give away all your money. You had to take a vow of generally chastity, poverty, silence, and obedience. Depending on the culture, they're a little different depending on where you lived and when. And devote your life 100% to the mystery school. And if you do that, if you give up everything and spend 20 years living, sleeping on a roof, eating gruel, and chopping wood and scrubbing toilets and doing all the nasty, dirty jobs, then you've shown you're serious. They'll introduce you to these teachings. And so my late mentor, Karl, he was formally indoctrinated into the mystery schools. And I asked him to do the same for me, and he said no. He said, no, Brent, I'm not going to do that with you because the world has changed. The energy has changed. And we need to get this out there. People need this. And people no longer have 20 years to scrub toilets and chop wood. We need this now. And so here I am. He intentionally kept me out of that so that once he passed away, which happened years ago, in 2018, I would be free to take this out to the world in a bigger way. And honestly, I wasn't quite ready in 2018 when he passed. I think I am now. That's why I'm here making this video. I want you to learn this. These things are real. They really will triple your income, maybe more. When I came to this work, true story, when I got introduced to Karl, it was by my life coach. I had been working with him. He was coaching me on dating. And after a year and over 100 hours of failure, he kicked me up the food chain. He said, Brent, I'm sorry, but you're so screwed up, I can't help you. So he kicked me up the food chain to the master. And here's the true story. When I did my first session with Karl, at first I was really disappointed because I had paid my last $500 to this crazy old guy to have me rollerblade in circles around a parking lot, and he video recorded it and then beamed me with energy as we watched the video. And then that was it. I went home. I was upset. I was disappointed. I called my life coach, Brian, and chewed his butt off. I'm like, dude, what the heck is wrong with you? You know I declared bankruptcy yesterday. I literally spent the last $500 I have paying some crazy old guy to tell me to rollerblade. What the heck is wrong with you, man? And Brian was like, Brent, I understand. You didn't understand it. Doesn't make sense to you. But don't worry. If he was beaming you with energy, your life will change. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, Brian. I'm still pissed. And Brian said, hey, Brent, I'll tell you what. If you really feel you got nothing out of this session with Karl, that this beaming, this consciousness shifting was of no value, give it a couple weeks. And if you really feel that way, I will give you back in trade at least $500 worth of sessions and programs to make you whole. And I was like, okay, Brian. And so I gave it a shot. He wanted me to give it 3 weeks. It took 2 days. Within 2 days after my first consciousness shifting, I was making so much money, it was crazy. I had done a small talk where normally I would, maybe get $500, $1,000 in sales. I made $50,000 in 2 hours. My calendar was booked for 6 weeks. My entire next class was fully sold out. And I'm like, oh my God, this had never happened before. And I called Brian. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. You're so right. This was the best thing I've ever done. Oh my God. And I proceeded to literally that week, I went bankrupt on Monday, met Karl, had my first consciousness shifting session on Tuesday. Wednesday, I had a little radio show I did. I had done it lots of times before. I usually got a few people that showed up at my talks, right? But no big deal. And Thursday night, I had over 130 people packed in shoulder to shoulder at the old Bodhi Tree Annex in West Hollywood. Some of you old timers may remember it. I love the Bodhi Tree. And I made 50 grand that night. And this is 3 days after my bankruptcy. I had nothing. I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. A friend of mine was in town that I'd known in college. He wanted to meet me for coffee. I said no. I said I was sick because I didn't have money to buy a coffee. I was so embarrassed. So it totally changed my life. Now, I can't promise you will get that kind of result that quickly, but it happens. I followed up with the work. I enrolled in his intensive life training, and then I was able to triple my income, maybe even a little better, and stay there. And still working to do better, right? Just like everyone. But that's what I'm here to share with you. This is a real thing, people. But it takes work and it takes practice, and it's going to take money and time because you need to work at it. You need to work with expert teachers, facilitators that can show you how to do it. After all, that's no different than anything. If you want to be a great baseball pitcher, if you want to be a great ballerina, if you want to be a great whatever, you got to work at it. You got to have teachers and mentors and trainings, right? No different than that. But this is so amazing. It will elevate your consciousness like nothing else. And you'll be amazed what will happen. Some of the things you might experience in your life when you start doing this work include the following. So yes, money is the obvious one. That's why most of us get into this. My experience is that most of the metaphysical new age world, block clearing and downloads and energy healing and such, is actually pretty good for physical stuff. If you have a physical illness or injury, it's really good for that. It doesn't work as well for money and prosperity. And I have a lot of theories. I could explain why. I'm not going to. It would take a long time and be boring to most of you. But I figured out why. It's lacking the embodiment. And so this consciousness shifting and the direct embodiment work, this is what works to make money. I'd say pretty much all of my high-level students start making a lot more money. Almost all of them. The ones that don't realize they already had enough. And they stop worrying about it. So either way, it's a life changer. So money is the obvious one, but that's only on the surface. Really what this is about is getting you to reconnect to life force, to be in the flow of the divine, to be able to be filled with energy that will facilitate and guide you and give you a freaking amazing life. But we've all gotten into our head. We've all gotten into these stories and myths, and we've gotten disconnected from that life force. And if you can get reconnected, the first thing you'll notice is you start making more money. But it goes way beyond that. You'll have a better mood. Your head will be clearer. You'll make better decisions. People will like you more. You'll be more friendly. It's really amazing. Maybe you've struggled to build a business, advertising, doing talks, etc. You get into this energy, you start to embody. people will start lining up. They'll start throwing money at you. It's really crazy. So before we go any further, let me ask a question. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I aim to answer every one of your comments 100% by me personally. Not my assistant, not some AI, but Brent behind his computer hitting keys, right? So let us know in the comments. Did you see Limitless? And if you did, here's what I want to know. Did you ever think this might be real? I didn't the first time I saw it. But later I went, oh my God, this is about Karl's work. This is real. So I'm curious, let me know. Did you see the movie or the TV show? If you did, let us know. And did you think maybe it was real? Would love to hear from you. Some other uses for this technology is dissolving pain or discomfort. You can reduce and perhaps completely dissolve any kind of pain or fear or stress, even nausea and grief. In fact, this process is so powerful for pain relief that my late mentor, Karl, he had done this in the past with women in labor, and it could take away all of their pain without needing any drugs. That's how powerful this is. So pain relief, making money, being present, being connected to the truth of you, being in the flow of life. This is also your fastest track to developing your intuition, your divine connection, as we might call it, your guidance that will be with you all the time, no matter what. And perhaps lastly, most important ultimately, is this is the fast track to enlightenment. This is what higher consciousness feels like. You are deep in this zone all the time. And higher consciousness is not about getting stuff or having your way. It's about being fully connected to the divine, having no resistance, seeing the beauty and perfection of every moment of life. That's what this is really about. But of course, I understand why we get into it. I got into this because I wanted to make more money. You probably did too. Nothing wrong with that. Just know that over the long term, it's not really about the money. The money is a side effect, a nice sign that you're on the right track. Really, it's about spirituality, presence, awakening, intuition, guidance, loving your life no matter what happens, living with no suffering at all. Does that sound good? Sounds great to me. If you'd like to learn more, obviously stay tuned. We got a bunch more awesome videos in this series. I'm going to talk about what the consciousness shifting is, how it works, how you can learn it, what happens in the body when we use it, all sorts of cool stuff. Last video in this series, I'm actually going to do my best to encode it into a video. So keep your eyes tuned there. If you want to learn more, actually experience this for yourself live, feel free to reach out to me. I put a link down in the comment. If you'd like to learn more about this quantum field thing and consciousness shifting, and you don't want to wait for the other videos, or you want to go deep fast, click the link. There's a short webinar, a little video presentation that will take you into it, and you will have a chance at the end to book some one-on-one time with me for free to see if you're a good fit for this work. But let me say, I do not want a lot of people. I can only work with a small number of people at a time. This has to be done either one-on-one or in small groups. I cannot do this effectively with hundreds or thousands of people. So at any given time, I'm only looking for maybe 1 or 2 new people, at most 1 or 2 every few months, that really want to go deep, to expand their lives, fill themselves with this energy, and learn to do things that most people think are magical or impossible. If that's you, you're in the right place. I would love to work with you. So check the description, click the link. If you enjoy this video, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. That's how YouTube knows this is a good video. Much appreciated. I am Brent Michael Phillips signing off for now, but we're just getting warmed up here. We got a lot more awesome videos in our series on consciousness shifting. So until then, please take care and namaste.